Brodes Media.
7-1. I don't know how they got that done. It was a very ugly football game, but all I know is when the game mattered most, now Hassan Reddick finally shows his power because throughout the game, they had zero pass rush. They couldn't get to Sam. Sam looked like John Elway in his prime. He gets his first 10 completions. He finishes the first half with only 2 misses, and one of those was a home run hit that should have been a touchdown. It was just barely overthrown. So I don't know why it looks that way sometimes, because this Commanders team can't keep that dude upright and they get annihilated by everybody else. But for some reason, whenever these two teams match up, it looks this way. Knowing that, though, win the football game. They both had internal problems, both of these teams. The way I describe this one is it was a battle of whose mistakes hurts more. And it came down to the Commanders having more issues, but it wasn't pretty from the Philadelphia Eagles side. And that's why I just got done a Bleacher Report hit right after the game was over. And I utilized the chat room. There's a poll option. And I said, how do you feel currently? Remember, this is 7 seconds as soon as the clock hits 0. And it was about 60 to 40. 60% of the voters were happy, and 40% of the voters were aggravated. And I get it, I do. Fumbling in the red zone is problematic. Continuing this Kenneth Gainwell crap is annoying. The screens on 3rd down, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 6, not executing the block on said screens. Devontae Smith, maybe that one ends up going longer and actually working, but the details weren't cleaned up. There was a lot of uh-ohs. Even Swift scoring late. This is now in 8 games. They are 7-1 in 8 games. 3 games off the top of my head I can look back at and remember clock management issues and time management problems from the head coach. And I wonder if you're seeing better opponents on the sideline, and we're talking postseason football, will that be problematic too? Will the other teams take advantage when they are a better bunch than what the Commanders have to offer? I told you all on Twitter to pound A.J. Brown and his receiving yards. The guy is a machine right now. And you can make the argument that maybe Tyreek Hill, because of his speed, is such a weapon that nobody's on that level. You can make the argument, fine, I won't yell at you about it. Tyreek Hill is nasty. If we are having a conversation, though, about one of your skill players like AJ being on the same exact planet as Tyreek Hill in a different way, right? He's more muscular. He's more about the physical traits, but you could throw 2 guys his way and he still comes down. That one touchdown, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It might not be as sexy and appealing as what OBJ did back with his iconic touchdown with the New York Giants, but if you replay it and watch it over and over and over and over and over again and study what the hell he actually did to complete that, that is disgusting. That is OBJ level stuff. It's just not the same in regards to the flashiness of it, but the difficulty of it is outrageous. And just keep feeding that man, because he will help you, and he helped you snag this thing. We can look through all of the lists that I came up with for both teams, if you'd like. And I guess you could rank which was more terrible, because both of these teams were constantly doing things to lose the game. No one really did things to win the game except for A.J. Brown. But most of the time, you were doing things to lose it. And Hassan Reddick, late. The pass rush, non-existent forever. The secondary was getting torched until Hassan Reddick got his hands on the football. And then you see the jerseys jump on it. It's Eagles ball. You know, it started to come alive with some energy late there. Reed Blankenship with the interception. But we'll start with what annoyed me most with the Eagles. The tush-push fumble can happen. You cannot fumble the football a yard or 2 away from the end zone. Punch it in. Now, you can look at the positive side. Hey, you scored 38 points while fumbling twice that close. Could you see a 50-burger? Is this offense finally starting to do something well if you're that close to sniffing 50 points? Yes and no. I gotcha. I get it. I see where you're coming from. At the same time, though, part of the team this year is they do turn the ball over a lot. They do give the other team second chances. This isn't just random. If it was random and majority of the time they are great great and they are beautiful and they're not turning the ball over and this is just out of the box, then fine. But this is not out of the box. They fumble. They do. They give the other team the ball when they shouldn't. So this is just part of Eagles football this year, and it has not been cleaned up. So between him and Gainwell, and I don't get the Gainwell love. I want to sit down with Nick Sirianni and I want to sit down with Brian Johnson and ask them, what do you see? What am I missing? What does Kenneth Gainwell have in his bag that whenever you get within 20, whenever you get super close range to scoring a touchdown, he goes in over DeAndre Swift, who's popping people 5 yards back when he lowers his shoulder? Did you see that hit he had at the end of the game? I bet you that was out of frustration. Did you see how many carries he had at half? You're sitting around barely any rushing yards at all, which is stupid because this team can thrive in the run game. They could be the most dominant run team, and that's including a squad that has somebody like Derrick Henry, who doesn't make sense in human life, yet you can be just as lethal as that, and you elect not to. At the same time, they were moving the football downfield, and they were getting in red zone spots, so they are doing something positive. I don't know how you can be so unbalanced, though, and leave a threat like DeAndre Swift off the board the entire first half. I bet you that was sort of out of like, yo, dude, like, give me the damn football. Call my name. Hand the rock in my possessions. It's my time. Look what I can do. He is 10,000 times the player that Kenneth Gainwell is. So I think it's absolutely atrocious. And the team needs to be smarter about scoring. You do not score there. You don't score there. You end the game. I know it's not a high percentage to actually get an onside kick if you are Washington. At the same time, we're playing with fire. And the more you play with fire, you might escape that fire 9 out of 10 times. But that one time you don't escape, guess what? It's too late. So I just don't understand how it is as bad. And even before, I've been on the record saying I'm not even mad when they scored the one touchdown and A.J. Brown scored it because they had a third and super long where they couldn't get off the field, and if their defense made the play, but at some point when it's constantly happening week after week after week, and like I said, they're 8 games in, and that's almost half the games. One more, and maybe there is one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. You're telling me 4 times? Oh, it's 3, so off the top of my head. But almost half, just under half your games, you're having these issues that we can discuss about clock management. That's too much. If it was 1 out of 8 games, different story. You see how I absorb this differently because it's nonstop? This is where I get myself into a pickle, though. Yeah, it is nonstop, and yeah, you're picking it apart, Brodes. They're 7-1 in 8 games. How many teams, while having all of this happen to them and making all of these mistakes, would be 7-1 after 8 games while still not playing their most crisp football? Not many. The answer to that is not many.